monthly, we have to appear before Mr. Governor to tell him what we are doing, how we are performing in terms of revenue. So, the last time we appeared, it was good news for us in OEQA, because not because of the amount we are generating, but because we are part of the 10 most viable revenue and most improving revenue generation agencies. We have not been able to do this. Like I said, it is not because of the amount we are generating. There are people generating billions on a monthly basis. What we are able to generate in a quarter was less than 250 million. The target we were given this year is 1 billion to generate. And after we left the meeting with Mr. Governor, we were invited by the Ministry of Economic Planning and Budget. And they said, this is what you are doing. We want to increase it. He said, don't increase it. He said, no, we are going to increase it because you have the potential to do better. So that day, we came back and we said, we have to re-strategize. I'm saying it here without any fear of contradiction. Some of you will know that we carry out revenue generation drive exercise. But the way we do it is that only officers at the headquarters will take 1 or 2 buses and we select areas. We can go to Kushofe, the bus will drop us and we'll start entering all the streets. I'll tell you what we are looking for. So, and that means for the last quarter, according to the report submitted to me by Ms. Obilebe, we were able to cover between January and March 275 schools. And that means, and the report also showed that 50% of approved schools are not paying annually to government. And also that we have on our database less than 20% of the schools that are operating in Lagos. So this quarter, we changed our style. And the style is that we are involving all the evaluators in the states. And we started the exercise today. So as you are here, they are in your school. Maybe they will have been calling you. But there's no fear. There's no fear. The good news I have brought to you is that you have a government that is ready to listen to you in education. The commissioner is not here. But I must tell you that he has been a very fair father to all of us. He has been fair to everyone. Even to us as evaluators. And our goal is that we are not out to make life difficult for private schools. Some of you may not know, but those who have been interacting with us, leadership of private school associations, will attest to the fact that we are now more listening and changing our policies to be able to sustain you in business. And I'll say 2 things to drop the mic. The first one is we started the process of registration. All schools in Lagos State, even if you have 1 classroom and 1 toilet, you must be registered. It is a shame on us as a government that a school will operate in the state without documentation with us. So we started the documentation process January 13th this year. And I can tell you that we have over 6,000 schools that are registered. And our target is to reach up to 15,000 before the end of the year. Everybody must be captured. things you can do. You can get documented on the database and don't bother. It's okay. But if you want to take it a step further, print those documents on the form that you have filled and submit at Alausa and pay 20,000 naira and get a letter of recognition. It's not compulsory, but it is compulsory that you are captured on the database. And for those who have been able to collect their letters, at least grade A and B, because one thing we are also doing with the years to be approved schools is to put them in grades. So the grade A and grade B were opportune to attend an intervention workshop organized by government free of charge at LCCI. Free of charge. They were invited because they registered, they paid their 20,000 naira, and they have a letter of registration. And I tell you for free that several banks, including Lotus, have been coming to us to say that they want us to lead them to schools, especially schools that are registered, so that they can support them to be able to get to the point of approval. That is one. Secondly, which is my last point, is that we are not out to reach out private schools. We have put in place a committee to domesticate the national policy for non-state schools in Nigeria. It's a good news for us that federal government has decided to classify schools into two: state schools and non-state schools. And these non-state schools include our schools, privately owned or run schools. It also includes schools that are run by associations, schools run by religious bodies. And do you know that these non-state schools also include all our local madrasas that are not registered? Yes. Our local madrasas, our tutorial centers that are running at the same time that the schools are running are also part of those that we have to capture in the non-state schools. So the good news is this: the head of this in Lagos is part of the committee to draft the Lagos State policy for non-state schools. We have done a survey before now, and we have encouraged schools to participate. What do you want that to be included in that policy? And that policy is going to also solve the problem of double taxation. It's going to solve the problem of Lagos State Employment Trust Fund. Because if we sit and we agree that Lagos State Employment Trust Fund should also provide grants and loans that are interest-free. So, at the end of the day, the policy we are going to draft is going to be presented to the House of Assembly. And if the House of Assembly now approves it, then Lagos State Employment Trust Fund will have a basis to now also approach House of Assembly to change their law. So, the honorable that came here has given us an option, which is the advocacy option. Let several groups write to government that you want to access interest-free loan with Lagos State Employment Trust Fund. The advocacy will go on what part? And the other part is we sit down on this policy, draft it, and seek the consent of the House of Assembly and the final consent of the governor to put it into law. And the moment it is into law, then Lagos State non-state schools will be able to live without any fear from anybody, because we now have a policy that guides your operation. What we have in Lagos before now is a guideline for public and private school establishments. So the committee, judging committee that will be inaugurated tomorrow will now merge together all these, these two guidelines and policy into one document. And I'm also happy to announce to you that yours truly, myself, will be the chairman of the drafting committee for Lagos State. And one thing you can be sure of is that we are also one day leaving service to come and join you. So we are not going to put in place a policy that is going to also affect ourselves when we are out of government. If you believe me, then give us all the support that we need to take Lagos, to take non-state schools to the next level in Lagos State. I want to thank you again on behalf of the Acting Director General for this invite, and I want to say that we are 100% in support of what you are doing, and we are also ready to protect your schools from any victimization or molestation. Thank you very much.